essentially we're in the last school. Some people don't like to compete and have those things out there, but I was very forward about where we were, and I treated it just like we do a basketball game on Friday night. Made it very verbal, made it very public to our kids and our staff and our community of where we were and where we wanted to be. Being down at the bottom, and within 5 years was our goal of being on the top, and we hit it in 3 as our composite scores and our reading scores in a number of areas. That was huge for our kids, and that was like winning the Super Bowl. That was like winning the game on Friday night, winning the league championship. So it was huge for our kids, for our staff, for our community. I put it out there in all of our social media places. We were not shy about the fact that we took first. I cannot attribute anything feeding that other than what we did Ebley-wise within the classroom. Recognizing the fact, and I think everyone will recognize the fact, that reading is an issue for a number of kids, and heck, adults, for that matter. But being able to say, we need to fix this and or put as much effort into helping raise it, and we had numbers that proved that what we were doing were working.
We've seen a lot of results in vocabulary, like I talked about, our main reason, but we also saw great gains in our, the last time we took the MEP test, the state test, was fall of 13, and one grade in particular, this year 6th graders, so when they took the test as 5th graders, let me go back to when they took the test as 3rd graders, they hadn't had any Ebley yet, and they scored about 48% proficient, I think, on the reading test for me. And then the next year they took it again as 4th graders, but they'd only had like the beginnings of Ebley, like the first couple weeks of the school year, first month of the school year, and then they took it. They scored about the same. They scored about 48%, I think, proficient on reading again. But then they had Ebley strategies all of 4th grade and the beginning of 5th grade, and took it again in October of 5th grade, and they skyrocketed to 65% proficient on the reading test. And that was the biggest thing we changed, that over what the elementary was doing at that time. Now they're doing it in 3rd, so maybe we would have seen the gain sooner, but we attributed almost all of that gain to using Ebley, because other than that, our ELA curriculum was aligned with the elementary school. Ebley was the main thing we were doing differently than them. So,
one thing I see students highly engaged. I see teachers' management through their Ebley lessons probably top notch. And then when I go in other parts, not that they're not managing, but just Ebley provides them such a structure and immediate feedback and all those pieces that helps keep students engaged. I think that's wonderful. We were wondering, since they were trained mid-year, how they were going to feel about that, because they're trying to follow a scope and sequence, and now they have this new strategy. But they all embraced it overwhelmingly. They have I guess I would say, hit the ground running and are liking what they're seeing. I've heard them say we're getting ready to do our end of the year assessments using NWEA, so I know they're very excited to see how their students will perform.
So what we did do, and we're fortunate enough to do with our superintendent and the people helping us put some of our pieces into place, send our special ed team first in the summer. And that special ed team was then able to come back that following year, first 4 or 5 months of the school year, and people saw what they were doing, and they saw some results coming from kids, numbers that could be measured, and not just that I felt good about the fact that kids were reading better. And so those teachers then were able to feed the rest of the staff, and everybody ate different amounts, but they were able to feed the rest of the staff, and pretty soon it came to that April time. We needed to decide what our school improvement plan was going to look like and how we were going to spend those dollars. And one of my longtime veterans essentially stood up and said, we need to decide as a team whether we're going to do this. We took a straw vote right there in front of everyone, and the vote was that we were going to put it in our plan. And we made a sizable investment that first year through our school improvement plan. But it was a staff decision after about a year of seeing it happen. And they made the decision, and then obviously it was much easier for me to quote-unquote enforce that it was happening because they chose to do it as a team.
he decided to do training with his whole staff first, And then when he did that, we said, you know, we should do that too. And Gary and I just were always really good at talking with each other. And, you know, they were going through a lot, being in the lowest achieving list. But we were constantly keeping updated with them, because one building on a list isn't because it's just that building not doing something they need to do. So we knew it needed to, K-7 needed to help out too. And it's just become a great strategy that we can use together. And we know our kids have it, so their teachers can just build off of it.
Well, Gary's always been an advocate, and so, like I said before, like he would openly send invitations to us to come and see, so that kind of a thing, and just conversations with him about really wanting us to look at it. And then the middle school also, then Tim also started that, so I don't want to say it was peer pressure.
Sorry.
It truly wasn't.
Sometimes, yeah. Good.
But it was just, you know, one thing the district has decided too is that the more that we can become aligned, the better that we will be servicing our students. So this was a great way. We were looking to improve our literacy skills, our vocabulary, across all content, and seeing their success just kind of helped us.
But you can't go 100% of the people, because 100% of the people aren't going to think that they need to go and get that. So, you know, shake the bushes, see who falls out, who wants to get some more training, and get that opportunity, and make sure you're working it into your school improvement plan as far as part of your reading goals. And let that slowly infiltrate what happens in the building, because you'll see things happening. And as a high school principal, I was sick and tired of kids not being able to read, and we had to address it.
Start with someone. Pick someone like Colleen Willison did here. Get them trained. Have them work with some kids. You know, make sure you follow everything they say. Do the one-to-one. Do all the lessons. And just track their scores. And then they'll probably decide to do it with everyone like we did, because, you know, there's other things you can do, but I think our power is that we're all doing it.
Mm-hmm. I would just like to say, for professional development, you know, over the years we've had lots of different kinds of professional development, and I just feel that what you supply teachers with, very in-depth, very paced, building their understanding of why they're doing what they're doing, and then coming back to support will give us the fidelity that we need. I see that with them, and they look forward to and formulate their questions because they know that they're going to get the support again and have that. So I do think it's something that will be long-lasting, and that we will see some good things when we're K-3 trained. So
by the end of, we have go through 7th grade here. By the end of 7th grade, we have the highest reading and writing scores in the county, either first or second in all those areas by the end of 7th. And I believe that's helped carry over to our high school now as a reward school, you know, because they're doing awesome things over there too, but it can't hurt when the ones before you hopefully are sending kids more prepared.
Right.
So.
If you can't read, or you struggle with reading, you're going to struggle to get those time tests done in time. Mm-hmm. And whether we like it or not, right now a lot of our schools are gauged on how their kids are scoring on the standardized tests. So I know what it was like for our community and our school to go through the perils and the tribulations of being labeled a priority school. It was not good, and we never wanted to go there again, and never want to go there again. But you know, when we finished up and I was done at Lakeview, we were in the 62nd percentile from the first years.